An antique clock can only be repaired by an expert. This person would have either apprenticed under a clockmaker or studied timekeeping at a horology school. In today's digital landscape, horologists are becoming a vanishing breed. When your grandfather clock is struggling through old age, it's time for a visit to the master clockmaker. First step, the dial and the mechanism are placed on a stand for observation. Two horologists inspect the clock for worn-down parts. The mechanism contains two gear trains, one for keeping time and another to regulate the hammer that strikes a bell on the hour. After the paperwork is completed, the clockmaker gets to work. He detaches the hands and dial to gain access to the gear trains and their linked components. He removes tiny screws to release the hands. Then he removes pins that release the dial's 4 feet, located within holes in the front plate. An artist restores the dial. The clockmaker unscrews the cast iron bell and begins disassembling the assortment of parts, starting with the pallets. The pallets receive power from the clock's suspended weights and connect with the timekeeping gear train, which moves the pendulum. The shafts of the hour, minute, and second wheels converge at the center of the largest wheel on the front plate of the mechanism. The clockmaker disassembles these and other components. He lifts off the front plate to strip down the inner parts. The cables suspending the weights are made of woven brass. The craftsman cleans all the metal parts in an ultrasonic machine. Its high-frequency sound waves force the chemical solution into all the nooks and crannies. He rinses the parts and dries them in jeweler's sawdust. Each part is inspected under a magnifying glass to assess their condition. If a part is worn, the craftsman tries to restore it to its original shape. If it's too badly worn, he has to make a replacement with a computer-guided milling machine. The pin at the end of a gear is called a pivot. After measuring its diameter with a digital caliper, the clockmaker sets the disc of a filing machine to its corresponding measurement. He places the pivot between the disc and a fine grinding disc, filing away any rough surfaces. Next, the craftsman works on the rear plate, hammering in brass sleeves called bushings into multiple gear holes. He widens the bushing just enough to insert the pivot and smooths out the hole. He inserts one end of the pivot in the rear plate bushing, the other end in the front plate bushing, and checks that the gear rotates smoothly. He does the same for each pivot hole. Then all the parts are cleaned and the mechanism is reassembled. This gear on the front plate is the hour wheel. The clockmaker attaches the hour rack, which connects to the gear train. This system regulates the striking of the bell on the hour. Once the mechanism is reassembled, the horologist attaches the dial to the front plate. The dial of this clock required no restoration. Even the original steel hands are still in good condition. When hands are in bad shape, the clockmaker creates replicas. When hands are missing, he makes new ones in the style of the period. During the entire reassembly, the clockmaker wears gloves to protect the steel and brass components from the natural oils in his hands. Restoring an antique clock can take several weeks of meticulous work. When it's done, the clockmaker mounts the clock back on the stand, connecting the weights and pendulum, and runs a test. The job is complete when the clock keeps time and the hammer strikes the bell to announce the hour.